Good Thursday morning and welcome to Korea Today.
Prosecutors arrest an official of a credit rating agency suspected of stealing the personal information of over 100 million from 3 major credit card firms in what is one of the largest cases of its kind.
Is he trying to take his fame as the bad boy to another level? Former NBA star Dennis Rodman continues to cause controversy. More coming up in the headlines. And signs of the Seoul government preparing for reunification. That story coming up on In Print. Over 12 awards and hundreds of showings. Stay tuned for a closer look at one of the most successful musicals in Korea.
Also on Korea Today, President Park Geun-hye recently unveiled her 3-year economic innovation plan. We take a look at what lies ahead for Korea's economy, especially in boosting the domestic market. Then we'll embark on an adventurous journey to Poryang, where you can zip line across the ocean, enjoy paragliding, and eat some juicy oysters. All of this live on this Thursday, January 9th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Thursday edition of Korea Today.
Good morning, everyone. It's a cold morning here in Korea with lows plunging to minus 9 degrees Celsius here in Seoul. There's a cold wave advisory issued here in the capital, but we really shouldn't complain. It's pretty mild compared to how things are looking over in the U.S., where all of 50 states are experiencing freezing temperatures. The lowest temperature reported was in Minnesota, where it's at 35 degrees, minus 35 degrees Fahrenheit. That's minus 37 degrees Celsius.
And it is
mind-freezingly cold.
Definitely, it is. There's been several videos that were uploaded of people in the cold. And look over here, Argentina is going through the worst heat wave in over 100 years. Weird temperatures everywhere in the world. Temperatures soaring to over 50 degrees. And Europe is seeing higher than normal temperatures and have been battered with storm activity. Reports of a cold wave in Southeast Asia, as well as snowfall in Vietnam and Afghanistan. We are seeing weird weather conditions.
That's right. I'm suddenly happy with minus 9. I'll stick with minus 9 degrees Celsius.
This is actually kind of normal, just a little bit colder than normal here.
That's right. All right, we'll leave that there and get a check on the day's headlines with Ahn Jeong-geun.
A major security breach, the largest scale yet to be seen here in Korea, has occurred. An employee at a local credit rating agency has been caught leaking personal information of more than 100 million credit card users. KB국민Card, Lotte-card, and NH-농협 were the 3 companies that lost customer data. Investigation is underway, but prosecutors believe their information was sold to 2 individuals, one working at an advertisement agency, the other a loan broker.
We confirmed that the data was copied to a flash drive after being accessed while related security programs were disarmed.
The heads of the 3 credit card firms apologized for the leak but did not answer reporters' questions on how something like this would be possible. The Financial Supervisory Service says it will conduct on-site inspections on the 3 companies and take disciplinary measures against the CEOs if any unlawful practices are discovered. Has he finally gone too far? The world is asking whether it was appropriate for the former NBA player Dennis Rodman to have sung happy birthday to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Happy birthday to you.
This was at an exhibition match between North Korean and former NBA basketball players, which Rodman organized in time for Kim's birthday. This is Rodman's 4th visit to North Korea, whose leader he refers to as a friend for life.
This is it's a very historical day today for everyone in the world to see that we can't coexist with each other.
But relations between the two Koreas is still at a standstill. Pyongyang has yet to respond to South Korea's offer to discuss holding inter-Korean family reunions. Seoul's Unification Ministry on Monday had suggested holding working-level talks for the war-torn families. The offer was made months after North Korea abruptly canceled the reunion event last minute in September last year. The last time such reunions were held was in October 2010. 5 of the 10 high-ranking officials from the Prime Minister's office who offered to resign at the end of last year have been told to clear their desks. The offer to resign en masse had sparked speculation that President Park Geun-hye was planning a cabinet reshuffle. Prime Minister Chung Hong-won had earlier dismissed those rumors. The Prime Minister's office explains the removals were based on a strict assessment of their performances. Now, of the remaining 5, 4 will stay where they are and 1 will be assigned to another role. Although the Prime Minister and even the President made clear there will be no major reshuffle at this point, some observers say this could affect other ministries and be the starting point of a major administration reshuffle. Good morning, everyone. Time for a look through your newspaper headlines. We'll go ahead and start with a couple news items related to North Korea, and no mention of former NBA star Dennis Rodman here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this headline. 조선일보's morning headline reads, Reunification Constitution in the works. That's right, that does say reunification. And the lead says the Daily confirmed that the government has launched a long-term study of legislation in preparation to create a so-called reunification constitution. And the sub-headlines note that a consultative body made up of members from the ministries of justice, unification, planning, and others was formed at the end of last year and will convene for its first meeting next Wednesday. The group will aggregate the research that each government body had conducted separately, as well as study various governance structures that could be pursued if and when the two Koreas become one. It also has a government source saying that 2014 will be the first year that departments put their heads together specifically for reunification legislation, and that more personnel will be brought on to build expertise and system on the topic. Scooting on over to 조선일보 next. Since the death of North Korea's former number 2, Chang Song-taek, there has been plenty of chatter on the whereabouts of his wife, Kim Yoon-hee, who is pictured right here. Of course, also the paternal aunt of leader Kim Jong-un. Recently, there had been reports that she had also passed, but 중앙일보, I misspoke earlier. Its report refutes that claim, and the headline reads, Kim Yoon-hee in effect in vegetative state, side effects of brain surgery in Paris. The article, citing a U.S. intelligence official who cited reliable sources, says that Kim Yoon-hee is believed to have undergone surgery for a brain tumor in Paris last year and as a result became very weak, her weight falling to 35 kilograms. It cites another U.S. authority as saying it is his or her understanding that Chang Song-taek's execution was conducted under tacit consent from his wife. Kim Yoon-hee, it says, has been out of the public's eyes since attending a performance with Kim Jong-un and his wife back in September. We'll leave that there and switch over to some of the events happening here in South Korea now. Gyeongyang Shinmun. We'll go ahead and take a look at the front page image there. Can you think of anything you've done every week, rain or shine, good day or bad day, for 22 years? The image title reads, So-called comfort women mark 22 years of Wednesday protests. And these two ladies, Kil Won-ok and Kim Bok-dong, have been staging a protest rally for quite some time. They're iconic faces of that protest rally that takes place in front of the Japanese embassy in Seoul every Wednesday for over 2 decades, going down as the world's oldest rally on a single theme. And yesterday was no exception. They marked their 22nd year anniversary yesterday of voicing their grievances to the Japanese government for being taken away as sex slaves in their youth. Yesterday, there was cake, there were tears, but there was no resolution. All right, shifting gears now. The issue of the history textbooks that we talked about on Gyeongyang Shimun yesterday is updated on 동아일보 this morning. Its headline reads, Education Ministry confirms outside pressure but offers no list or solution, referring to the Ministry of Education's announcement yesterday on the results of its special probe that several of the 20 or so high schools that had initially signed up to use the controversial 교학사 history textbook had retracted their decision after quote-unquote unjust outside pressure. And finally, we'll wrap with a look at a Mail Business newspaper. This morning, its headline reads, Foreign companies give Korea's business environment 69 out of 100. This is a result of a survey the Business Daily conducted on some 26 foreign companies, including Intel and Toshiba. And the subheadlines say 3 out of 10 said the business environment has actually worsened since the start of the Park Geun-hye administration, and that the sense of uncertainty is growing in light of pressure from tax investigations and also the changing standard of ordinary wages. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Thursday. Next up are your closing numbers from Wednesday's market action.
I think we can really call this the first actual real cold wave of this winter,
At
right?
least for this year, too. And I really feel for Dami, who's outdoors waiting for us to check in with her for a check of the day's weather.
conditions.
That's right. Let's go to her right now.
Now, Tommy, how cold is it and how
Look
cold
at
is
her.
it going to
Must
be
you
throughout the day?
ask?
That's the question.
Oh my goodness, Young and Minjung, it is just so cold right now. It's unbearable. Good morning to everyone. Today I am reporting live from the heart of Seoul, Chunggu. For the first time this winter, we are under cold wave watches here in Seoul. Temperatures right now are at negative 9.1 degrees Celsius. I still can't believe the numbers that are coming out of my mouth right now. But as for body temperatures, it will feel much colder because there are sharp gale winds that are in the atmosphere right now. Now, tomorrow we're expecting our lows to reach its peak as our temperatures will dip down to negative 10 degrees. So do be prepared, especially for your morning commutes today. And over the weekend, we are expecting to receive some snow here in the central regions, and the cold, frigid weather will continue. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather around the peninsula. Here in the nation's capital, highs are at -3, Daejeon -2, Daegu at 2, Gangneung at 0, Busan at 4, Gwangju at -1, and Jeju at 2 degrees. Now, with the abrupt change in weather, our bodies are more vulnerable to catching a cold, so make sure to bundle up from head to toe. I'll be back in just a few moments.
At President Park Geun-hye's first New Year's press conference, as many expected, the economy took center stage.
우리 경제의 혁신과 재도약을 위한 경제 혁신 3개년 계획을 세우고 1인당 국민소득은 3만 불을 넘어 4만 불 시대를 바라보게 될 것입니다.
President Park, with her 3-year economic innovation plan, pledged to further boost Korea's economy. Out of the 3 specific goals, the most notable is the revitalization of the domestic market. This means in order for the country to jump ahead, it needs to find a breakthrough in the domestic market for the overall growth of its export-heavy economy. President Park has shown strong interest in strengthening the service sector, such as in healthcare and tourism, as these industries are seen as having high job creation capacities. Also emphasized was the need to relax certain investment regulations in order to better foster the domestic service sector. In addition, plans to diversify support for small and medium-sized businesses were also announced. This is so that smaller companies can also jump into the export market, adding to competitiveness in this sector heavily reliant on big businesses. A sound balance between the domestic market and the country's exports will be the dominating goal for Korea's economy this year. As plans to realize this are expected to roll out, whether this goal can be achieved to further boost the country's economy is what many will be looking closely at.
And to talk more about how the Korean economy can keep a good balance, joining us is Professor Shin Sang-yup from Kyung University. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning. So let's first talk about what President Park Geun-hye said. She says the government will put a lot of emphasis on, an extra emphasis on the nation's service sector in particular. Now, given Korea's economic structure, is this a workable plan?
Yes, I think so. By creating jobs into the service sector, well, the Korean economy can be boosted to some degree. I want to underline to some degree. What I mean is that, well, at the moment that several industries in Korea have competitive advantages. Those industries are the medical care, healthcare and medical industry, and the tourism, education, and then financial sector, and then software sector. So these sectors are the industries in service sector which have the competitive advantages. But which means that there are more rooms to be developed further, and by creating more jobs in those sectors, well, the Korean government can establish the so-called stability, the Korean society. Well, as you know very well, because of high unemployment rate, in Korean society, there are some negative environments as a whole. So to build the mutual trust and stability in Korean society, I think creating more jobs can be one of the ways. And so if the more people can get a better job, which means they can spend more money in the Korean market, that means that the Korean domestic market can be restored. But I think I should emphasize this point. Why the restoration of domestic market is important in the Korean economy? Because of the unbalanced economic structure in Korea. Well, a few days ago, there was a report about the economic growth in Korea. Well, this year, the economic growth rate in Korea would be about 2.6%. But without Samsung's contribution to the Korean economic growth, it can be minus 3.7%. Well, this shows very well how the Korean economic structure is not balanced
very well.
Which means that Samsung does not perform very well as they do. Maybe it can directly hit the Korean economy negatively. So that is one of the reasons we have to develop the service sector and the other manufacturing sectors as well. And so this is very important. And can I add one more thing?
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Then, in fact, that some people can misunderstand the meaning of the three-year economic innovation plan, which means that the Korean government just focusing on the service sector, but it does not mean that the government will stop some support for the manufacturing sector as well. So the Korean government should have to continue make every effort to support this manufacturing sector, and particularly Korean government should have to encourage Koreans to start business in foreign countries, particularly, the developing countries, particularly. By doing so, we can get the positive effects from this three-year economic development plan, economic innovation plan on the long-term basis.
Right, and of course we will have to have a more comprehensive mix of policy interventions as well. And having said that, so what are some of the challenges that lie ahead in realizing this, the government's blueprint?
Well, in fact, there could be several serious challenges. One of them is that interest groups, such as labor union, there must be very strong negative responses from those interest groups, because that they should compensate. They compromise the reality, but it could be a little bit difficult. Some terms and conditions which they can accept easily because they have enjoyed those kinds of some so-called privileges for the last several decades. So I think there will be this will be one of the most serious challenges facing the Korean government. And then also, about the President Park's the 3-year economic innovation plan. The ruling party, opposition party, has shown very negative responses. So to compromise with the opposition parties, in the political arena, seems to be another of the challenges facing the Korean government, I think.
And you did mention that the labor union has enjoyed, but some are raising concerns that by President Park. Announcing to have plans for easing regulations that could end up just giving more weight and control of power to bigger companies and conglomerates and leave no room for small and medium-sized companies to grow. So what are your
that's
thoughts
very,
on
very
that?
important question, I think. But I think, according to the government, they are going to make the presentation about this plan by around the end of the next month. But I think I wonder whether they have to hurry so much. They're fast because right now the government should have to consider and prepare the details of the plan. In order to prevent the big business conglomerates from enjoying the benefits from this plan. Well, in the past, because the lack of the appropriate systems or the laws, those benefits were given in the hand of the big business conglomerate. But this time, by the preparing the legal or the preparations, the government can prevent from having those situations again, which means it's too early to say that we have to wait the details of the government announcement.
Of course.
But the government should consider these aspects in order to give more benefits to the small and medium-sized enterprises. Because this is very important. Why? Because out of total employed person in Korea, 85% people are working at small and medium-sized enterprises. So by giving more benefits to the small and medium-sized enterprises, the effects of the economic plan could be more important than ever. I think.
It remains to be seen whether this plan will work out and change the underlying Korea's economic structure to a more healthier one.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor Shin Sang-hyuk,
My
for joining
pleasure.
us this morning.
Thank you.
And still ahead, it's considered the final touch of interior design. Lighting fixtures are becoming more creative to add cozier and warmer looks to our surroundings. We take a look at some of the latest designs that are both practical and simply beautiful.
An educator, independence activist, and freedom fighter, the name Ahn Jeong-geun rings patriotism in the hearts of Koreans. And after more than a year, the musical based on the true story of Ahn Jeong-geun returns to the theater. Yim Yoon-hee has more on this. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Yim-hee.
morning. Good morning. So I saw the musical Hero, and that was debuted here in Seoul in 2009, and it actually cost over $4.6 million to produce this musical, and it's been shown all the way in New York. Now, the producer, Ho-jin, is very well known, especially for his production of The Last Empress, which is considered the very first Korean original musical. Now, Hero reflects Ho-jin's very rich stylistic technique. So without further ado, let's take a look at the story of legendary patriot Ahn Jeong-geun.
내 조국의 하늘 아래 살아갈 그 나를 위해 수많은 동지들이 타국의 태양 아래 싸우다 자작나무 숲으로 사라졌습니다. 그들의 간절했던 영혼이 하늘을 감동시킬 수 있도록 뜨거운 축배와 간절함을 담아 저 안중근 이 한 손가락 조국을 위해 바치겠습니다.
With a painful slice of the finger, Ahn Jeong-geun
made a statement to the rest of the world that the Korean people did not belong under the rule of Imperial Japan. The musical Hero returns to the stage, bringing back the story of Korea's patriotic hero, Ahn Jeong-geun, and his struggle to bring independence to an invaded Korea.
Ahn Jeong-geun really wanted to create peace in the East between Korea, China, and Japan. His dream was for them to live in harmony. Before that can happen, people need to reflect on the past and look closely at history to see what needs to be passed down to future generations. For this musical, I wanted to show the deep emotional meaning behind this story, but present it in an entertaining performance.
Created in commemoration of the 100-year anniversary of Ahn Jeong-geun's death, Hero debuted in 2009 and was an immediate sellout. It was shown on stages across Korea, and in 2011, it went abroad to the Lincoln Center in New York. After taking a break, it was brought back with a new cast featuring the abilities of some of Korea's top musicians, as they display an array of emotions through this heartfelt musical.
Ahn Jeong-geun inspired many people to join the fight for independence. There are many numbers within this musical that features the theme for independence. All of the songs are really heartfelt. But the most heartbreaking piece is at the end of Act 1. Ahn Jeong-geun sings Waiting for That Day of Promise, and there he abandons his own life in order to show the rest of the world the patriotism that's boiling over in their souls.
Hero is known for its theatrics and emotionally powerful images. The pangs of the murder of Korea's last empress, blamed on the Japanese resident general of Korea, ring in the ears of the characters as she sings for the justice of Korea's soul. The musical provides a scene out of an action movie, as actors tumble across the stage. Huge walls are transitioned in and out, changing the settings of the scene in the blink of an eye, demonstrating the years of work and millions of dollars that went into this production.
These actors repeat the movements over and over again until they collapse. They're working so hard that there's not a single drop of sweat left in their bodies when they're done. Because of their dedication, the audience watching knows that these actors are working hard and executing difficult techniques, all for the sake of the audience. I'm very proud of all that they put in.
Ahn Jeong-geun is determined to make a statement to the world that he is no criminal, and that the true criminal is Ito Hirobumi, the Japanese resident general of Korea. A huge suspended train sets the scene in Manchuria, China, where Ahn Jeong-geun is met by Ito Hirobumi. Japan needed to conquer Korea in order to cross to China, but Ahn Jeong-geun gives up his life to stop them dead in their tracks. Through powerful music and emotional lyrics, the story of Korea's hero lights up the stage in a stunning performance of one of the most dramatic moments in Korea's move for independence. Hero isn't just a dramatic story for the stage. It shows the life of Ahn Jeong-geun, the man who fired the deadly shots, giving up everything and becoming a true hero.
Looks like it's a gripping performance, and I see they've cast some famous faces to play some of those roles, especially the role of Ahn Jeong-geun, who is known to have been a very strong and charismatic character.
You're absolutely right. So the producer, Ho-jin, was able to attract he's a pretty big name, so he was able to attract some pretty big, high-profile singers for the production. There are three famous singers, and they include Ahn Jeong-geun's character, which is played by J.K. Kim Dong-wook, yes, and his voice is very powerful, really matched the character, contributed. There is a spy courtesan played by Lee Hae-ri, who's also known as Davichi, and there's a member from the band Noel, Na Sung-ho, and he played another role in the cast as well. Now, it is common for them to have big-name singers for these kinds of musical productions. And with this particular production, they rotate the cast regularly. So depending on your preference, you can watch it with, these high-profile singers, or you can watch it with the musical actors.
Okay, judging from the video that we just saw, I mean, it just looks like a huge production, right? You said that it has a rotating cast, and it does set itself apart. Can you tell us some of the differences that Hero has, other than the other musicals that are out there?
I did mention earlier that it cost $4.6 million to produce this musical, which is quite a bit.
Yes,
yeah, so you
a
can
lot of
see,
money.
you can definitely see it in there. Now, with The Last Empress, they made that, the same producer created that on a budget of $1 million. So you can imagine how much more he was able to pay attention to the quality of the production as a whole. Now, with The Last Empress, that is more of a traditional Korean style. It's considered more of a traditional Korean style musical, whereas Hero also holds on to those traditional Korean roots, but it also is considered more of a modern version, more of like a Broadway style musical for Korea.
And large scale, you can see all the set as well as the theatrics. It's amazing.
It was very exciting to watch.
And with the recent decision by Seoul and Beijing to erect a monument in commemoration of Ahn Jeong-geun in China, maybe more people would be interested in seeing this performance.
That's right. It comes in perfect timing. Well, thank you very much,
My
Yoon-hee.
pleasure.
All right, still ahead on Korea Today. Now, Poryang, you might know of it as a summer destination.
For
It's
mud
very
slinging, right?
Mud flinging, whatever you call it, right? But it's also known for winter adventures that await you. Now, zip across the open waters, as you see Joey doing over there. You can check out the West Sea and the grilled oysters that are in full season. We'll take you to the city of Poryang today.
And let's now go back to our Dami, who joins us from Chunggu, Seoul. She's going to show us a musical flight of stairs. Hopefully she's indoors by now.
That's the question. That's the big question. Is it outdoors or indoors? Let's go to Dami, find out all about these musical stairs. Dami.
She's outdoors. Oh, no.
It is outdoors, but it is worth a while. I'm back reporting live from Chunggu's Hall in front of the Seoul Citizens Hall. Now, this winter, when it comes to the Love Thermometer Tower, well, they exceeded the donations that they received last year. And as for the Red Kettle Drive, well, they received donations at an all-time high this year. And all this good news brings warmth to my heart, and even to make me warmer, I'm going to introduce to you a different donation that you can find here in front of the Seoul Citizens Hall. Now, if you take a look at the staircase, this is the Kayagum staircase for health that was made by the Seoul Metropolitan Government. You can see that there are beautiful drawings on it, and they're basically oriental drawings that represent the 10 symbols of longevity, or in Korean we call that 십장생. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you why this staircase is special. There are two different reasons. First of all, like the name implies, it is the Kayagum staircase. So every time I go up and down the stairs, well, it makes the beautiful sound of the Kayagum, or the Korean zither. So there are a total of 39 stairs, and each makes a special tune. Now, the second reason that makes the staircase special is every time a person goes up the stairs, well, they make a donation of 10 won to help others. Now, right now what we're seeing is the record that they keep, and this is the record or how many people have used it in the day. And right now, so far, 93 people have made use of the staircase, and this is the total number of use that people have made use of the staircase. It says 5,008. That's right. So, I mean, basically this staircase is special in so many ways. Why not come on by in front of the Seoul Citizens Hall and make use of the Kayagum staircase for health, get some exercise, listen to some beautiful sound of the Kayagum, and make a donation. So it's a triple whammy. That's all I have for now. I'm Idami, Korea Today. All right. Dun, 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 dun.
also time you made some donations.
I should hit those
so.
stairs today, make some donations, and get some exercise at the same time. Now, we're going to look at lighting fixture designs, which can act as a cherry on top. Now, the Korea Intellectual Property Office has said that the number of people looking for patents for original lighting fixture designs have actually spiked. And not only that, design competitions around the world are recognizing this as a new form of design.
A lighting fixture could really make or break the ambiance and add those final touches to interior decorations. So today we're going to look at lighting designs, some of the unique lighting designs that are out in the market, and also at a lighting exhibition that'll be underway until early next month. So check it out.
Beautiful lighting is what completes the look in interior designs, and different lightings have done their part to create a homey and warm atmosphere, especially during the cold winter months. But more recently, creative designs are being used in lighting to create more functional and captivating aesthetics. This lighting fixture, invented by Professor Bae Sung-min's research team at Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, KAIST, wowed many when it swept major awards at 2 global design competitions. At first glance, it may not seem so special. But the secret lies in this plastic handle. A new design resembling that of a flower bursts open simply by turning the lampshade with this handle. This lighting is called the moving lighting because it can create 13 different moods with just one fixture. More recently, innovative looks have influenced many portable lighting designs. This looks like any other book from the outside, but when the cover is lifted, warm lighting shines out from the pages inside. This portable LED lighting can be conveniently recharged with a USB cord.
Nowadays, LED lighting designs are very popular, and this trend has influenced the making of creative portable lighting as well. Lights are no longer just simple tools to project different shades. They have become a beautiful and crucial part of aesthetic designs.
As more functional and artistic lighting designs have been receiving much attention recently, a special exhibition has opened up in Korea. A total of 20 Korean metal formative artists participated in this exhibition and showcased 80 diverse and one-of-a-kind lighting fixtures. From lively, detailed, spider-like shapes to lighting which looks like it's flowing. Unique atmospheres created by cold metals blended with warm lighting captured the interest of many visitors. Out of the dozens of marvelous designs, there was one titled Sancheok, or Stroll, that's especially eye-catching because, unlike its name, the design features a gigantic hand holding a smartphone.
These days, most people are glued to their smartphones when walking on the streets instead of enjoying time for self-reflection. And with this ironic title, Sancheok or Stroll, I hope to portray and encourage viewers to venture out of their smartphone world and take in the natural scenery and enjoy the moment when they go on strolls.
Lighting designs are sometimes part of interior decorations and other times meaningful art pieces. And this exhibition has garnered more interest as it takes advantage of spaces such as the cafes and restaurants inside. When talking about lighting as art, stained glass designs can never be left out. This stained glass lighting design was inspired by the medieval Gothic cathedrals, featuring impeccable stained glass designs. Fancy stained glass lighting has been regarded as exceptionally valuable artwork in Europe and the US. In order to cut and glue together different colored glass, extremely hot iron, reaching close to 300 degrees Celsius, must be used. And the more colorful and exotic the designs are, the more difficult it becomes to put the pieces together. But in the end, all the hard work pays off, as the completed stained glass lighting fills the indoors with its beautiful colors and shades.
The main characteristic of stained glass lighting is that it looks more magnificent when light pierces through. As such designs give off different radiance and colors depending on the shapes and number of glass pieces used, I think they should be perceived more as artistic work that can transform the entire atmosphere at home.
But Korean lighting designs go after simplicity and elegance. And light fixtures designed with Korean traditional paper hanji do just that, by giving off warm colors and creating a comfortable atmosphere. To celebrate the new year, a very special lighting design is being made. This piece looks as if it has been gift wrapped with hanji, or Korean traditional paper, and wishes for a good fortune to those who receive it. The lighting emits a soft glow and is more attractive with its traditional designs. It's a perfect addition to whenever you want to read a book, or sit back and relax.
Because this fixture is made with hanji, the lighting coming from it is very soft and natural.
As traditional hanji lightings become more popular recently, more consumers hope to design and make their own hanji lightings. Today's theme is pot-shaped light fixtures. After carefully molding the wires into preferred pot shapes, hanji is applied to the exterior. This isn't a quick or easy task, as it takes 5 hours to complete.
It seems like the classic and subtle beauty of hanji is accentuated more since it's combined with light. I'm excited to see the piece that I made and how beautifully it'll light up my house.
Lighting designs set the perfect indoor mood during the freezing winter months. So how about making your own piece of art to light up your room with a cozy and comfortable glow?
Now, for an athlete, pep talks can really boost their confidence and morale. And in the case of the 250 athletes heading over to the Sochi Winter Games, President Park Geun-hye visited the National Training Center intending to do just that. Now, to mark the 30 days till the start of the Winter Games in Sochi, the president visited the training center to meet with the athletes heading over to Sochi next month. As a way of boosting their morals before the Olympics, President Park Geun-hye spoke to athletes like figure skater Kim Yeon-hee and speed skater Lee Sang-hwa. Now, she stated that she hopes that their hard work will pay off at the Winter Games and will be cheering them on. And moving on with the World Cup in Brazil, less than 6 months away, manager Ho Myung-bo will be meeting up with PSV's Park Ji-sung one last time to talk about a possible return to the national team. While it's known by practically everyone that Park Ji-sung retired from the national team, no one's really heard it from Park Ji-sung himself. And with the World Cup coming up in June, manager Ho Myung-bo will be meeting up with the former national team captain to see if he can convince him one last time. While Park Ji-sung's father mentioned several times that his son will not be playing for the national team, no one's sure how Park Ji-sung himself feels about a possible return, as fans hope for one last chance for his return. And moving on to some Wednesday night's KBL action, the Goyang Orions pulled off a win against the Seoul Samsung Thunders with a final score of 78-72. In one exciting game between the KT Sonic Boom and LG Sakers, so let's take a look at the highlights. Now, first quarter of the game, KT led by Oh Young-jun's 9 points in the quarter, take a 23-16 lead before going into halftime with a comfortable 42-35 lead. By the third quarter of the game, Davon Jefferson tears it up, scoring 24 points in the quarter as LG rallies back to take a slim 66-65 lead going into the fourth quarter. Now just a back-and-forth game from there on, but with Cho Sung-min's clutch 3 and free throw, the KT Sonic Boom rally back to take this game 87-85, with Cho Sung-min finishing off the game with 26 points. And now finishing things off with some Wednesday night's V-League action, the struggling Hyundai Hillstate pulled off an epic 5-set win over Daejeon KGC in the Women's League to escape last place. Meanwhile, another last place team looking to move out of their spot as KEPCO Vicstorm took on the Samsung Hwajae Blue Fangs. Now going into the match, Leo Martinez puts up 12 points just in the first set, with KEPCO committing 6 serve errors as the Blue Fangs take the first set 25-22. Now, serve errors continue to be the problem for the Vicstorms as it turns out to be the difference maker here as the Blue Fangs take the next 2 sets 25-20 and 25-16, taking this match 3-0. And with the win, the Samsung Hwajae Blue Fangs return to first place. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
We are in the middle of winter and many think the eastern province of Gangwon-do is the safest bet when it comes to winter festivals. But today we're going to venture to the west coast to enjoy some different but equally exciting winter fun. And joining us for this story is a new reporter, Joy Marcadente. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so you had a chance to check out the location over there in Poryong, right, in the winter.
Yes,
it's known for summer activities, but tell us all about it.
Okay, well, basically, I was able to experience what Poryong has to offer during the winter time. Now, most people will think of, when we say Poryong, they'll think of the Poryong Mud Festival. But there's lots of other fun to be had during the winter time, and there's lots of delicious food to be had as well. So we can take a look at the report, and you can see just what kind of fun we can have.
All right, sounds great.
Korea's west coast is home to one of the world's 5 cleanest mudflats and its scenic sunsets. The city of Boryang in Chungcheongnam-do province has become extremely popular among foreign tourists for its massive mud festival held every year. More importantly, Boryang is only 2 hours away from Seoul, making it easily accessible on express buses and trains. As soon as I get to Boryang, my first stop is Daecheon Beach, where I can take in the beautiful winter ocean scenery.
Hello and welcome to Daecheon. I'm standing here at Daecheon Beach. So what is there to do in Daecheon in the winter season? Well, if you come with me today, I'll show you just that. Are you ready? Let's go.
But is there much to enjoy at this popular mud festival venue even during the cold winter months?
Okay, so I'm here at Zip Trek, as you can see in front of me. Zip Trek. I don't really know what it is, but it's really tall, and it's here on Daecheon Beach.
There is actually a spectacular leisure sport awaiting me for my first winter trip on the west coast. On one side of Daecheon Beach is where you can find zip lining. This is the first of its kind above the ocean in Korea, and that's why many tourists continue to come here and try out the exhilarating experience.
Oh, it's pretty high. 17. Oh, 18, 19.
Okay, we're here on the 19th floor. It's a little bit scary now. On the basement floor I was okay, but now we're here. It's a little bit windy, a little bit scared, but I'm ready to do it. Let's go, have some fun. The view of the vast West Sea awes people on top this platform. With the open sea and islands as the backdrop, tourists can experience the fun 52 meters above the ground. Finally, the time has come to experience the ultimate excitement.
All the fear and all the joy, you get to see it all. So I'll see you at the bottom, okay?
I slide through the air on a single line cutting across the wide open waters, and the cold breeze blows away all the stress. Before I can get myself together from the amazing zip lining experience, I'm already on my way to the second stop in Boryang.
So I just finished zip lining, and that was really fun and amazing, and my adrenaline was pumping, my heart was racing, and it was a great thrill. But apparently, there are more thrills other than zip lining. There's one right here waiting for me on the top of this mountain.
What's awaiting me up on the mountain peak? Along with Songju-san Mountain, Okmasan Mountain is famous in Boryang, and there is a place for paragliding.
Oh my God, we're so high!
The ride starts up here, where the whole Boryang city is in sight.
Oh my God, we're so much higher than I thought. We just kept going up and up and up the mountain, and now I see how high we really are. Everything looks so small. I'm a little bit scared. But it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. There's no turning back.
With many crowding into Boryang to enjoy paragliding every year, A competition is being held for those who want to participate.
Keep on running and don't take shit.
Don't
Never.
sit. Okay.
Yeah, never.
Keep running.
Yeah.
Okay. I will run until we're in the air.
Leaving my fear, anxiety, and jitters all behind, I throw myself into the clear blue sky. Like a bird freely cruising the heavens, paragliding lets me experience that unforgettable feeling of openness and freedom. The view of the West Coast sunset while paragliding is another unforgettable experience.
Oh my goodness. It's like a roller coaster ride. 감사합니다.
네, 고맙습니다.
너무 멋있어요.
멋있어요.
좋았어요. Thank you very much.
Very good.
I've enjoyed fun-filled extreme sports, so now it's time to try out the region's winter specialties. This place, filled with the mouth-watering smell of grilled oysters, is Cheongbukmyeon in Boryang. Proving the popularity of Cheongbuk oysters in front of Changmun-ri Port, 90 oyster restaurants have come together, forming the region's famous oyster complex.
안녕하세요.
이건 뭐예요?
아, 이 사람아 이것도 몰라. 그 유명한 천북 굴이야 이게 굴.
굴이요?
예.
안 먹어봤어요.
이게 생으로 한번 먹어볼 테야?
네.
내가 한번
먹을 수
까줘볼
있어요.
테니까 생으로 한번. 이게 생으로 먹으면 남자한테 진짜 좋은 것이요.
Okay. It tastes so fresh. Wow, I never really had an oyster that was so fresh. Oh my God, I can't wait to have more.
Already, countless people from all over the country have made their way out to this district to try out the fresh, rich oysters. There's a special way to eat oysters in Boryang. Here, people put the entire oyster on top of grates and grill them on low heat. The taste of grilled oysters are exceptional, but it's also fun to put on some gloves and crack open the shells with a blunt knife. Finally, the white oysters are ready to eat. One bite, and you'll never forget the taste. Grilled oysters taste best when it's a bit juicy, and also make sure you dip it in the red chili pepper paste doused in vinegar. It simply melts in your mouth.
This time I'm gonna try a little bit of gochujang and kimchi. You eat it different ways with kimchi without, and it just changes the taste just a little bit to make it unique every time. I love it.
There are more oyster dishes that will bring all your senses to life. Hot steamed oyster rice and fresh raw oysters are also dishes not to be missed. The West Coast offers everything from the scenery of calm winter ocean, a taste of extreme sports, and a dish perfect for the cold season. So how about going on a winter adventure along the West Coast?
All right, so you've proven your point that Boryang has a lot to offer then other than the mud. So are there any other activities that people can enjoy?
Absolutely. If you're not a thrill seeker, there are more calm things you can do.
Okay, that's for Min-jung.
Such as bird watching. There is
it's actually a fun activity, guys.
In Cheongsu Bay, there is a bird sanctuary where birds from around the world have come to migrate for the warmer seasons, and it's a great place to see them in their natural habitats. So I actually visited there. It didn't really make it into the report, but it was quite serene, and the backdrop was very scenic with the mountains, and there was a bit of fog and the birds flying in the background. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, that's the perfect experience for you.
And if you're into photography, then you can just go ahead and take some pictures of birds.
You'll come with me, take pictures.
I'll take
watch.
the pictures of you and the birds, all right?
All right, well, thank you for this report.
You're very welcome.
All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Korea Today.
Have a wonderful day. It's going to be cold, so bundle up when you leave the house, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.